with the Office of Nutrition and Health Promotion Programs at the Administration for Community Living. I'd like to welcome everyone to our third Thursday at 3 webinar series. The title of today's webinar is Trifecta Socialization. As you know, the intent of the Senior Nutrition Program is much more than nutrition or the delivery of a meal. The act also includes socialization activities and focus in the areas of health and well-being. We purposely called our series Trifecta because each component of the nutrition program is important. As you'll recall, if you participated in our first webinar, trifecta refers to a group of 3, and in some cases, the order is specific. In the case of the Older Americans Act, the trifecta relates to nutrition, socialization, health, and well-being, with each of these of equal importance. All 3 must be fully addressed to truly ensure all older Americans live the highest quality of life. In some ways, the nutrition part is easy. We can deliver nutritious, healthy food to our seniors. Socialization and health and well-being, well, those are a little bit harder in this virtual world, but ever so critical to our seniors. Today, we're going to address socialization and present innovative solutions to combating social isolation. So let's get started. Nicole, let's move to slide 2. Our learning objectives today, in our webinar, will highlight the importance of community, connections, and innovative ideas for combating social isolation. We'll demonstrate how to use virtual programming to promote socialization and provide an understanding of the socialization challenges faced by the aging network and the tribal nations. Next slide. Our agenda, just very quickly, I'm going to give you an update on our Celebrate the Senior Nutrition Program. We have 2 wonderful speakers. Anna Feltz. Anna is the director at Old Bridge, New Jersey Senior Center, located in New Jersey. And Jasmine Aplin, she is with the Office of American Indian, Alaskan Native, and Native Hawaiian programs at the Administration for Community Living. Today, we'll have time for questions and answers at the end of the program, and then we'll close out. Next slide. Just a few reminders. Questions should be held till the end of the presentation and place them in the Q&A box. Please don't type them in the chat box. We want to make sure we see all your questions. Additional questions may be submitted up to 1 week after the webinar. Just write the presenter's name for who the questions are intended in the subject line, and those questions will be compiled for each speaker. Any inquiries and requests, please send them to Nicole Becerra at acl.hhs.gov. We do not offer pre-approved CPEs for this webinar. However, we can provide you with a certificate of attendance. And finally, if you would please mute your line if you have not already done so. Next slide. Celebration summary, just a quick review of the objectives of our March celebration. The intent is to focus on the Older Americans Act. Our other goals are to highlight the role of nutrition in the 3 areas of food, socialization, and improving health and well-being. We also want to inform the community and key decision makers on the impact and the return on investment with your program. We want to increase awareness and educate and support the network with tools, and we also want to showcase innovation and best practices. Next slide. The Senior Nutrition Toolkit was developed to really help you plan and implement fun and engaging programs that enhance socialization and well-being. From social media graphics to partnership and activity ideas, you'll find all the resources to help engage seniors and the community. Let's take a closer look at the tools, just in case you haven't had a chance to do so. Webinars. We're in the 3rd webinar of our 4-part series. There's still time to sign up for the webinar next week. Another key component of the month are the Senior Nutrition Community Tools. And under the community tools, you'll find program activity guides, tip sheets, share your work, and social media tools. If you notice behind me the graphic, this is one of our social media tools that we have available to you. We also have tools for program value. You can promote the value with partners, local and state decision makers with our program value infographic and poster. We could please let others know the contribution your program makes towards the overall health and wellness of older Americans. Next slide. Our program activity guides. Today, I've chosen the Did You Know game to highlight today, mainly because it's one of my favorite, because it engages participants to really talk about themselves and for others to get to know them. There are 7 guides total that are available on the website for you to download. These guides promote socialization. They do incorporate COVID precautions, and they provide steps needed, how to participate, and all the supporting information you'll need. As I mentioned, there are 7 guides, and I've included the link on this PowerPoint just for your convenience. Next slide. Share your work. If you have creative programs, we want to hear about them. Share your good works with the network. Complete the activity submission form on the ACL Senior Nutrition Program landing page and email it to us along with the photos. We want you to toot your own horn. Don't be shy. We know you're doing great work and we want to share it. And it will help others jumpstart their programs. And your submission may be featured on the ACL website. And while we'd love to be able to share everyone's, we can't share them all, but we'll certainly try to share as many as we can. Included is the link that you need to click on to take you to the Share Your Work. And again, submit your photos and activity descriptions. And I've included a link for the activity submission form along with the email address where you'll want to send that information. Next slide. Social media tools. And speaking of your tooting your own horn, we want you to tell everyone about your program and all your great works. So use our social media graphics to really help spread the word. You can post these on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, just to name a few. There are 8 different designs to add variety and interest. And don't forget to use our hashtag Senior Nutrition Program. Next slide. The next slide, I've compiled key resources for you with active links. Just keep these handy for easy access to the ACL website Senior Nutrition Program landing page. Let's move to the speaker portion of our webinar. Next slide. I'm so excited to introduce our first speaker, Anna Feltz. As I mentioned, Anna is the manager at Silver Linings at Old Bridge in New Jersey. Anna is also the New Jersey representative to the NISC Leadership Collaborative. Anna, take it away.
Thank you very much, Kathy, and welcome everyone. Thank you for having me today and getting this chance to speak to you all about socialization and virtual programming. Next slide, please. So today we're going to be talking about how you can prevent social isolation during the COVID-19 pandemic. Next. So we will talk about the prevention of social isolation for congregate meal site clients. We'll also explore how you can use virtual programming to promote socialization, and we will provide you with some program examples. We also are going to talk about ways to overcome barriers in virtual programming and preventing social isolation. These barriers include staffing, lack of technology, and budget and funding. Next. So just to give you a quick background on who we are an activity center for adults over the age of 60 in Old Bridge, New Jersey. Our building has been closed for just about a year now, since March 13, 2020. We continue to deliver some services in a limited capacity Our social services continued via phone. Our transportation services remained in place for dialysis patients and other critical medical appointments. Next. So our senior center hosts a senior nutrition program that is hosted by our county. We work very closely with the nutrition program to provide Meals on Wheels deliveries to residents in Old Bridge, but also to provide a congregate meal sites to our clients. We ended up having to offer assistance to the Meals on Wheels program because all of our congregate meal clients were now forced to stay home. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to reach them. So in that regard, we ended up providing our bus drivers as a way to deliver meals to those seniors who now were not able to come into the center to have lunch. So our initial hope was to reopen on March 30th of 2020. Clearly that hope came and went. So New Jersey got hit very hard at the very beginning and went into an immediate lockdown, and unfortunately our doors have remained closed ever since. Next. So by March 30th, we quickly shifted our focus to virtual programming. And we thought about ways that the best platform to deliver virtual programs to our members. After some thinking and discussion among my staff and reaching out to some of our members, we figured that Facebook proved to be the right social media platform. So we decided to create what we have called our Silver Linings Virtual Community. Next. Over the course of a weekend, we put together a whole entire community, and we began what we have now called the concept of a senior center without walls. Just like that, we were able to connect to our clients once again. What was great with this is we were able to get the word out via phone calls and wellness calls, via emails based on our email list, but also we put a flyer to all of our congregate meal clients and all of our Meals on Wheels clients to let them know that this was available to them. Next. So what does our virtual community include? It includes exercise videos that are pre-recorded or available via Facebook Live and Zoom. We include sketch classes. Pre-recorded sketching assignments are given, or we are also now have started doing Zoom sketch classes. We are doing paint classes via Zoom with all the supplies provided and delivered to their homes. We have spent quite an amount of time on mental health, obviously, this past year. And every Monday, we use that as our Mindful Monday, where mental health posts and live presentations regarding mental health are given via Zoom. We are doing Trivia Tuesday, and also have been doing a weekly photo challenge to get our members up on their technologies on how to take selfies and how to post their pictures on Facebook. Next. We are also doing Zoom Bingo, and the great thing about Zoom Bingo, the first question I get a lot when I speak about socialization and virtual programming is, well, what if my, seniors don't have access to technology, they cannot do Zoom? Well, the great thing about Zoom Bingo, we have been able to develop that so that our members can call in via Zoom, and they do not have to have a computer or anything like that. And we have found this Zoom Bingo to be one of the best programs to do with our more frail technology inclined seniors. We also did a whole summer series called Summer School Sessions, where we posted history lessons throughout the entire summer based on that week's historical events. We are doing arts and craft projects where members can sign up for these projects and all the materials are delivered to their homes. This is also another great project to do with people who do not have technology. You can have them sign up via a phone call when you're doing your wellness calls, and then you could deliver the supplies when you're delivering your meals. And they can, what's great is we've had some of our seniors be the volunteers and overseeing these programs, and they've provided their phone numbers so the seniors participating in an arts and craft project can call them for assistance. So it's been a great way for them to keep in touch with each other. We've done themed months and weeks. We celebrated Older Americans Act. We celebrated Senior Center Month. We're currently celebrating Senior Nutrition Month this month. So that's a great way to keep everybody active. We are doing Technology Thursdays, where we're giving some kind of either presentation or post on our Facebook community on different aspects of technology, how to use Facebook, how to use Zoom, how to use Instacart, how to use any kind of technology out there. And we do a lot more. Again, all of our Zoom's presentations and programs are available via phone for our members without access to technology. Next. So some of the resources we have used for our virtual community, most of them have been free. So that's been the really great part. We do keep about 3 to 4 posts per day on the page to keep the page active and to keep members engaged. That seems to be the right amount. We have used a website called Snappa, which is free of charge for graphic design to make program announcements and to make our weekly calendar as well. We are, as I mentioned, we are using Zoom for our virtual classes, but you are most certainly welcome to use Microsoft Teams. With Microsoft Teams, you also have the ability to have people call in and WebEx as well, which is what we are using today. We have found that Zoom, it seems to be the easiest for our members to use, but you're welcome to use any kind of platform. Next. Some of the websites we've used for our content, and by content, I mean our daily posts. If we're posting, for example, today we posted a nutrition post as we're celebrating Senior Nutrition Month. So I kind of do some research, and based on that week's, if there's a topic or a theme for that week, I'll do my research and find some content online. ACL.gov obviously is a big one that we are using, NCOA.org, seniorplanet.org, AARP.org. IDon'tmind.com is great for mental health resources. History.com came in handy during our summer school sessions. YouTube.com is great for free exercise videos if you are in need of content. And myfreebingocards.com is a great website to download bingo cards and also to have a game called for you virtually. So that's a really great tool. Everything that we post, all of our articles that we post, obviously credit is always given to the sites whenever we are using their content or their articles. Next. So I just wanted to show you guys really quickly some of our program highlights. These are little picture blurbs, as I call them, that we post when we have an event coming up. As you can see, we did a Habits of Healthy Aging. That was one of our mental health webinars that we did back in October. We also did a breast cancer awareness tea. We recently did a fall prevention, home safety, and balance training. We have been doing with our county nutritionist monthly presentations, and our last presentation in February was regarding heart health. We also did a crochet projects where our members made scarves for a local nursing home. And what's great about something like that is they can do that on their own at home, but they still feel a connection to their community because they are going to be giving back with that project. Finally, we also have been recording our exercise classes, our gentle strength, move to the groove, and chair yoga classes with our local TV studio here in Old Bridge, and they actually air 4 times a week. So once again, our members who do not have access to technology are able to see their favorite instructors right on TV, right in the comfort of their own home. Next. This is just a little bit more program highlights. We did an intergenerational pen pal program. This is a great way for an intergenerational program between students in Oak Bridge and seniors, all done via email. We, like I said, are doing bingo once a month, sometimes twice, and that's been working out really great. We did a big Seniors Against Scam presentation back in October. That was a hit. Again, what's great about a presentation like that, we did it via Zoom, but again, for people who did not have access to a computer and cannot attend it through the traditional method of Zoom, were able to call in and listen in. So that was great. We did a cybersecurity Zoom webinar, which that was fantastic, especially as we did that one in August as we were really ramping up our virtual programming and our members were online more. We wanted to make sure that they were safe online. And just recently, we did a nutrition presentation with our county nutritionist on new dietary guidelines and how to use MyPlate. Next. So I was talking about giving you guys some programming ideas, and one of the ones that seems to have worked really well is to host what I call a lunch and learn, and I'm sure you've heard that term before. So you host a learning luncheon via Zoom. Or again, even if you're using via Zoom, anybody can call into it. This will definitely be great for your members who don't have the technology. And then you can use, the presentation can be on any topic: nutrition, scam preventions, health and wellness, or you can even just host a lunch party where members can just catch up with each other. This is great. This is a great way to duplicate your congregate meal program, but on a virtual level. This program is good for members with or without technology. Another idea is grab and go events. If your meal site has the opportunity to host and grab and go events, I highly recommend it, especially now as people are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with coming out. You know, maybe you can host a once a month special grab and go meal, and they can come up to your site, see the staff there or the volunteer there, and it's a nice little time to you know, you're not going to spend 3 hours talking with them, but just them seeing you and you seeing them gives you a little bit of a comfort level. And you could do a grab and go meal, maybe do a raffle with a giveaway. You could also have a DJ come out and maybe play music on a special day. So for example, St. Patrick's Day. I know we're going to be doing a grab and go event in May for in celebration of Older Americans month, and we're going to have our mayor there, and we're going to have a DJ there, and seniors will be able to come and grab and go their meals. Next. Another idea, and this is something I talked about before, was to establish a pen pal program. You can do that via email or even snail mail, and it could be amongst congregate meal clients, so they could do it amongst each other. So you tell your clients, hey, would you like to participate in a pen pal program with another member? It's a nice way to stay in touch, and you could even expand this program by doing an intergenerational program and reaching out to schools and see if students would want to connect with seniors that are at home. Partnering with an organization and community is also a great way to do programming. So we recently partnered with St. Joseph's High School, a high school nearby, and the students there collected items, and we made care boxes that were filled with toiletries, different activities like puzzles, adult coloring books, Sudoku books, and these were delivered with our meal program. So when we delivered their meals, they received this care box, and it was to remind seniors that someone cares and they have not forgotten. They have not been forgotten. The program was a hit. The amount of calls and thank yous that we got from the seniors, they were just so touched that we're thinking about them, but people in the community are still thinking about them as well, even though it's been a year. We have not forgotten. We actually just delivered these care boxes this month in celebration of Senior Nutrition Month. Next. So some of the barriers that we have heard from other centers and other meal sites around us is staffing. I know, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, I was the only staff member here. For the first 3 months, my entire staff worked from home. So I was here with just the Meals on Wheels drivers. So that was hectic. But if you are part of if your meal site is part of a senior center, see if you could partner with the senior center staff to assist in delivering programming to homebound seniors. Ask the senior center, are you doing anything virtual? Is there anything that we can maybe incorporate the congregate meal clients? If you are able to have volunteers, you can seek out volunteers to do wellness calls or maybe to assist at one of your grab and go events. That's a great way to get the community active and to get them into something like this. And this will help you solve some of your staffing issues. The lack of technology is another big question. Zoom doesn't cost any money for a participant to use. It will cost the organization some money if you decide to have a unlimited Zoom. If you have a free Zoom account, you only get about 45 minutes and you have a limited amount of participant. If you pay, I want to say maybe $10 to $15 a month, you're able to have an account where you can have as many people on it, and you will have a phone number that they can call into, and there is no time limit. So that's something to look at. And again, with Zoom, with WebEx, and with Microsoft Teams, those without technology can all join via phone, which is also toll-free. Next. And finally, the other barrier that obviously is probably very prevalent amongst all of you is budget and funds. So I highly recommend seeking out grant opportunities. With the new CARES Act funding that's been coming, that just was passed, and what was passed last year, there's been a lot of CARES Act funding available through the Older Americans Act. So, you know, seek those grant opportunities out. Seek out partnerships in the community, partner with businesses and restaurants and schools, and see if will help you. Like I said, all of the businesses in our town are the one that are sponsoring the winners of our bingo games. So that's been wonderful. So at every bingo, we always have a winner, and they may win a gift card to a local Dunkin' Donuts or a local store or grocery store, something like that. So that's how we have been able to get these prizes for them. And you can always seek out donations from the community at large. Maybe you could hold a fundraiser if you are able to do that. You could just, generate any kind of donations. The care boxes is an example. The kids went out and collected all these different items and then put these boxes together. So that's another way that you can try to overcome some of those budgeting and funding issues. Next. So this is just quickly, just to wrap up, this is a quote that was in the Washington Post in March of 2020 that really struck me because this was at the very beginning of everything that was going on. And I don't often like to use the word social distancing because to me, what we're doing is physically distancing. We don't want to be social distancing from each other. And the quote goes, social distancing refers to creating a physical space between one another and avoiding large gatherings. It does not mean to socially disconnect from one another. Instead, we encourage you to strain your social ties while maintaining physical distancing. And this quote is really actually what led us to creating our virtual community, and being socially connected to everyone, I think, has what kept us going. And just on a side note, our virtual community has over 290 members on the page as of today. So it seems to have worked. Next. And this is just my contact information. You are welcome to email me if you have any questions. You can visit our website at oldbridge.com/silverlinings. You can also visit our Facebook page, our virtual community at facebook.com/groups/silverlinings at Oldbridge. If you do visit the Facebook group, I will have to let you in. So just shoot me a message if you are interested in joining the group and checking out what we have. I thank you very much for listening to me today. I hope you have found some of this information useful. And I know Kathy mentioned that we'll be doing a Q&A at the end, so feel free to type in any of your questions in the Q&A box. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. That was a great presentation. Love sharing your programs and all of the activities. So we'll now move on to our next speaker so that we can move to the next slide. Jasmine Aplin is with the Office of American Indian, Alaskan Native, and Native Hawaiian programs. And as I mentioned, Jasmine is with the Administration for Community Living. So Jasmine, take it away.
Thank you, Kathy. And I'm going to start by apologizing. I'm actually going to face mute while I talk because my computer's being a little precarious and I don't want it to die in mid-sentence. So I'm going to face mute, but this is what I look like. I didn't have to hire a ringer for that picture. And I just really appreciate your patience. All right, so can we please go to the next slide? Next slide. Yep, thank you, Nicole. So as Kathy mentioned, I work for the Office of American Indian, Alaskan Native, and Native Hawaiian programs within ACL. And I just want to kind of briefly explain what our office does. So our office administers the Title VI program, which if you're familiar with Title III, Title VI is kind of Title III's tribal friend. We do a lot of the same services, but our grants are specifically for tribal communities and native villages, and the beneficiaries of our grants are elders living in those tribal communities. Our Title VI grants have two parts to them. Part A and B, which is our nutrition and supportive services, as well as Part C, which is the caregiver services. And so just to give you that bit of background, so in Title VI, our relationship is directly with our tribal grantees. I believe we have 282 tribal grantees currently, and they represent 405 different federally recognized tribes. And if we could please go on to the next slide. Thank you. So what I wanted to talk about today is a couple things. First, I want to talk about the unique challenges faced by tribal communities. And then we're going to kind of pivot to the importance of community, because as this pandemic has raged for over a year now, that's been a critical piece that we found to be very important. Another way that the final point we're going to discuss is the innovative ways we've heard of our tribal communities combating social isolation. So we've gotten some really good ideas, and I just want to kind of share those with you. If we could please go on to the next slide. Thank you. So here I've listed out some of the unique challenges facing tribes, and I kind of want to walk through them in a little bit of detail. So the first one we talk about when we think about some of the unique challenges that face tribes with social isolation is kind of this the rural nature of many tribal communities. And we think about rural, and I kind of want to give you a little bit of an example. There is a program up in Alaska that is on an island near the Bering Strait, and you literally need to take a plane or a boat to get there. So, I mean, that's probably an extreme example of a frontier community, but our programs are generally extremely rural. And so that creates a couple challenges. First, we think about the challenge of providing really innovative, mental health services and kind of the things you might have available for you in a really big city. But also think about some of the things that I, for one, live in the DC metropolitan area. So something I take for granted is Amazon. If you're living in a village in the Bering Strait, you're probably not able to get 2-day Amazon shipping. So, the matter of combating social isolation because of the ruralness of our communities kind of works on a couple fronts. It's that issue of just the availability of services because it's hard to get people there, but it's also kind of difficult to get stuff. So that, can kind of become a unique challenge faced by our Title VI program. Another unique challenge we kind of face is this business of so I use grandparents raising grandchildren as an example. And I'm going to kind of talk more about this a little bit in depth further in our conversation. But many of our elders find that they're raising their grandchildren, that's part of our caregiver program, or that they live in multi-generational housing. And you might be thinking, well, isn't that like the opposite of social isolation? Like, you have all these people in your house. Of course you should feel, really part of a community. Not necessarily, because it can be very stressful, and sometimes the elder can feel like they're in a very stressful situation and they're uniquely in that situation. So, it's not uncommon for our elders to live in multi-generational households, and that can sometimes create stressful situations. And on top of that, if you have kiddos going to school, you can create stress by them potentially being an exposure risk to their at-risk grandparents. So, just think of that challenge. And then next slide. Thank you. The final challenge is cultural competency that we've kind of run into. And when I speak to that, kind of what I'm saying is, communicating with people in their own language, and also understanding traditions and things that are part of people's yearly or even daily routine as being a tribal elder, specific gatherings that are seasonal that didn't happen, that can be very damaging and hurt and painful for the elder to kind of go through. So that's a cultural competency piece, but this language piece is really huge, because having somebody speak to me in my own language is very helpful in kind of understanding and really showing a lot of empathy toward what they're going through. So those are some of the challenges. And next slide. Thank you. So now let's talk about some of the solutions. And one of the things that we kind of talked about is, the importance of community. And in one of the earliest memories I have in the pandemic is of one of our Title VI directors calling me and just saying, Jasmine, I'm burnt out. And she was saying to me, I have my own family. I live in a multi-generational household. She is saying, I have my own health risks. I have my own susceptibility, and I have to worry about the health of our tribal elders and their families. And it's just a lot to put on one person's shoulders. And she said, and on top of that, I feel like I'm sometimes the only person in the world that feels that way. And I was, thinking, I assure you that you're not, but that's a really unhelpful message for me to send from Baltimore. So, what we've found is that it is extremely important for those carrying many burdens to know that they are not alone. I mean, it's important for people who are feeling like they are the only one in their particular circumstance to know that that's maybe not true, and that there's people that are kind of there to be sympathetic toward them. Next slide. Thank you. And so one of the ways we took this kind of forward, and we said, we have, people who are feeling like, hey, I'm wearing a lot of hats, I have a lot of responsibilities, and I am feeling like I'm the only one. And one of the ways that we've really tried to combat that from the ACL Title VI office perspective is that we have weekly chats every Thursday from 3 to 4. So we're actually having a weekly chat right now. If you guys ever want to visit us with us after Senior Nutrition Month, we would love to have you. And, we always have a guest speaker on these chats. We always try to present some kind of opportunity or some kind of information. But one of the components we always try to have on these chats is to ask people how they're doing and give people an opportunity to kind of unmute and just say, like, I'm having a good day, or we had a really good program, or like this kind of stunk, and we want to, we just want to kind of try to foster that sense of community. And we found that like people have been very have really enjoyed our chats. I'll speak for myself. I guess I am people, and I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed hearing how communities are getting through the pandemic. One speaker that I would like to particularly highlight, because I think he is wonderful, so I'm completely biased, is Dr. Alex Thundercloud. He is the director of the SAMHSA Office of Tribal Affairs and Policy. Dr. Thundercloud first spoke with us on a Thursday chat back in the back in spring of 2020. And it was a wonderful conversation where we got many directors talking about the different resources that SAMHSA had available and the ways they were feeling. And so we brought Dr. Thundercloud back right before the holiday season, knowing that can be a tough time for people in a pandemic because it's very different. And we had another good conversation. So I think that, one of the things that we have kind of lesson learned is that it is, obviously very challenging to foster a sense of community when you're not physically near somebody. But I think just giving people an opportunity to feel like they are not alone in the things they are feeling is important. And I'll speak for myself quite bluntly. I have felt much more like I feel like my soul is much more rejuvenated by having conversations and having hearing from other people, and just feeling like there's such an incredible community of people that really care about their elders and really care about doing a good job, and that we can just support each other. Like it's such a powerful thing for me to be a part of. Next slide. Thank you. So now I want to pivot and talk about some of the innovative ways that our office has been combating, or not our office. Whoa, not our office. Our office has heard about programs combating social isolation. We will not take credit for the wonderful work of other people. One of the things that I thought was very interesting, we heard a program talk about, is I know we talked a lot earlier in this presentation about congregate meals, and some of the challenges that we as Title VI have that challenge too, is that our congregate meal sites are closed, and we've pivoted to home delivered because people need to be physically distanced. But that doesn't offer the opportunity to kind of do a check-in, let's make sure Mr. Jones is okay. He kind of seemed a little sad, you know, or he seemed like he might need to be checked in on, but we haven't seen him in a week, that kind of thing. Well, that's more difficult with home delivered meals. So one program had a great opportunity or a great idea to give their seniors red and green cards in their home delivered meal packet. And they had asked the seniors that when their home delivery was on a schedule, and they had said, you know, before the home delivered meal driver comes up, if you could put a green card in your window if you're okay and a red card if you're not. And so that way the driver knew that if Mr. Jones had a red card in his window, maybe we should check on him, we should call him, we should make sure that he's okay. And that was a way to socially distance, but also to make sure that our elders are okay. And on a more fun note, one of the activities that we heard about was car bingo, which I just have to highlight because I thought it was so very cool. And one of our programs had suggested having seniors drive up to the senior center parking lot, and then they would like have a window open and do bingo through a megaphone. And when the senior got bingo, they would just honk their horn. So it was like a really fun way to play bingo in a way that kept people socially distanced. I just thought it was a really cute idea. Next slide, please. Okay, you know, we kind of talked a little bit, or Kathy talked a little bit about the get to know you game in the earlier part of this conversation. So I kind of wanted to highlight that a little bit and shamelessly plug that because my colleague at ACL, Sonia Begay, actually was the author of that one, and she is wonderful. And, you know, one of the things Sonia and I were chatting about when we were coming up with some of the games is how can we take social activities and make sure that there is a cultural spin so that, you know, people in tribal communities can really highlight their culture, celebrate their culture. Like that was it was really clever. And so, you know, what I'm going to kind of highlight that one because Sonia was saying like you could take this game and have the idea behind the game was that you would be given a number and then there would be questions. And so the person running the game would pull a number out of one hat and a question out of the other and ask the individual with that number. I might be saying it a little wrong, but this is the basic idea. You get a random question, and the idea is to answer it for the benefit of the group. And so we had said like there would be kind of really cool questions like, what's your favorite spring activity, or what's your favorite traditional food, or like what's your favorite, like what's your like earliest memory from, you know, going to X, Y, and Z place that might be local to you, kind of thing. So you could kind of make it very unique to that specific community, celebrate a particular festival or a particular dish or, you know, a location, something like that. And you know, we had talked about that being a good way to kind of have like a cultural focus on these nutrition activities. Another one we had thought about was having kind of like a cooking show where you could make a dish specific to your community and be your own like master chef and show your dish off. So that was pretty cool. But we definitely were trying to think of activities that had a cultural component because there's just so like we found our elders have so many cool stories and so much wisdom. It's really cool to highlight it. Next slide, please. Oh, I think that is all I have. So I just wanted to thank everyone for their time and thank Kathy for asking me or allowing me to participate. Again, please feel free to email me with any questions or if they appear to you after this conversation, or ask to join our Thursday chats because we love to have everybody.
Thank you, Jasmine. You know, every time I listen to you talk, I'm just completely amazed. I'm so amazed by, as you put it so well, the challenges that are overcome by programs. I think some of us just have no idea. So, gosh, our hats off. Amazing. So, just very quickly, I do want to thank Anna and Jasmine for those great presentations. Also, I just want to be sure to remind everyone before we go into Q&A that earlier in the presentation, I talked about resources and tools that we've developed. Please use those links that are in the presentation, or just go to the ACL website. It's all there. Great information, great way to enjoy the month. I also want to just mention just a final thought around this whole issue of social isolation. It truly is so real, and it is our job to make sure that we are making sure that there's engagement happening with our seniors. I really loved Anna's quote that we don't have to be isolated. We may physically distance, but we don't have to lose those intimate relationships. We do need to take charge and make a difference. And because some of our seniors are truly struggling from the lack of socialization. And we don't know when the end is going to happen in terms of COVID and the total return to normal. I just want to challenge everyone to think about ways you can continue to stay the course. With that, I know that there are lots of questions, and let me just see if we have any questions in our all right, here's our first question. Thank you. We do have quite a few here. First question, did you have any issues with getting seniors up to speed on how to use Facebook and Zoom? And is training or recruitment ongoing? There's three parts to this, and I'll help you. I promise I'll come back and tell you. You don't have to remember them all. And how many seniors participate? So, Anna, I'm going to toss that one to you first.
Sounds good. So at the beginning, when we joined the Facebook page, within the first week, we had 50 members already on there. And those members were actually kind of what should I say, our word of mouth advocates. So they were the ones that called their friends. They would say, hey, Silver Linings is on Facebook, join the Facebook page. As we were doing all of our wellness calls, and we were making hundreds of calls per week, we told people also that we had a Facebook page. We advertised it on our local TV station. We also advertised it on our website. So that's how we were able to recruit members. And on average, we are still growing. Like I said, we have almost 290 participants on there. If you take out a couple of different senior center directors that are following our page, we probably have about 250 actual members on the page. And we see an average participation of about 130 to about 160 per day, depending on the programs for that day. So we see a good amount of participation on the Facebook page as well. We did have to, what I did at the very beginning, I created myself, I kind of self-taught myself how to create these training videos using my computer, using my phone. So I showed them how to use Facebook on their phones. I showed them how to use Facebook on their computers, how to navigate our Facebook page, where they could find all of our posts, how they could sign up for classes. And I also created Zoom training, and I also, AARP had a really great Zoom training that you could also post, so we posted that as well. And then just everything else was done over the phone to assist them. So it was really, really, good. I don't know if I missed anything else from that question.
How many seniors participate?
So we have 250 active members on the page currently, and on an average, we see about 130 to 160 people per day actively participating.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Another question, were the volunteers making wellness calls given access to participant phone numbers?
Yes. So the volunteers that we used had to have a background check first. And then the seniors that we were doing these wellness calls on, we asked them if it was okay for us to share the numbers with the volunteers. And thankfully, everybody said yes. They were very happy to hear from other members because these volunteers were all other seniors in the center. So they were happy to hear from their friends. So so that worked out really well. So yes, they did have access to the numbers once we were given permission to share it.
Okay, thank you. For the Tech Thursdays and other social media presentations, do you go live? And if so, what is the participation like?
So some of our Tech Thursdays have been live. We have done them via Zoom. And we also have done a few at the very beginning via Facebook Live. But the Zoom one seems to be the most popular. And the other Tech Thursday posts are also just articles or links to how-to guides. So Senior Planet was a great resource. AARP.org was a great resource. You know, how to use Instacart, how to get, you know, meals delivered from, you know, Grubhub and those things. So that was at the very, very beginning. That was our focus for our Tech Thursdays. And those could just have been a simple post that we just shared a link for them to go to maybe another page or a YouTube video training if we didn't make our own videos or if we didn't host a Zoom class.
Okay. Another question, and I think I can answer this. What is the name of the website to create, or I think download the free flyers and the information? I believe this question is asking about the ACL website. So it's www.acl.gov/senior nutrition is the main landing page. And from there, you can access the toolkit. There's a link that you can just click from there. So that is on the ACL website. Let me see we have some more questions. Another question, we provide free exercise classes, 10 per week. Participants receive daily class invitations, health tips, recipes, COVID updates, videos, trivia games, and top 10s. We would be happy to share all of our programs with your members. This is someone, all activities are free. You can contact hverni@regalmed.com. And maybe, Nicole, we can post that in the chat box. Hello, can you provide exactly where I can find these PowerPoints? PowerPoints for this webinar, as well as the first two webinars, can be found on ACL's website, the www.acl.gov/senior nutrition. And I'm checking for more questions. Are we able to get a copy of the PowerPoint presentation? Again, acl.gov/senior nutrition. There are some good websites and resources, but I didn't get a chance to write them all down. Absolutely. The PowerPoints will be posted for each webinar, as well as a recording. So if you know anyone who wants to listen in, they can also listen to the recording. Jasmine, for the red and green cards, do you have any feedback on how often red cards were used? In my experience, it takes a lot for older adults to share that they need help.
Yes, and I think that you're right, is that that's particularly, and I think we definitely had that in our tribal communities. I think one of the things that we found were really important for us was the messenger. And the senior center staff, as well as the Title VI director, having a relationship with these elders and really being able to explain their importance, was very helpful. I'll say I know for a fact a red card was used because we actually got pinged as ACL and somebody asked us to reach out to our IHS colleagues because they were deeply concerned about somebody and they needed to get they felt they needed to get IHS involved. So I do know that they're used and I know that they're important because, because it allows for a network to troubleshoot and make sure someone is okay. But I can't say that, obviously we would never want to know, we don't want to know people's personal business. I just would say, I think that for critically important situations. We hope that they're being used because the senior center staff is a trusted partner.
Thank you. There's a question. Can you remind us of what the Thursday calls you mentioned? There were actually two mentioned. This webinar series, the Thursday at 3 webinar series, and Jasmine actually mentioned the Title VI call, which runs unfortunately at the same time. Jasmine, do you want to interject anything about that call?
Yeah, no. So our call is fundamentally for our Title VI audience. Once again, our guest speakers are chosen to give our Title VI audience information. However, we more than welcome our state partners as well as anyone else to join. We usually will, we share our topic via our web blasts. But if anyone is interested in like a particular topic, we can also add that to the agenda. And those occur every Thursday at 3. We've been doing those for about a year now, and we find them to be very helpful.
Okay, great. We'll pause for just a moment, but that looks like those are all of our questions, unless, Nicole, you see any in the chat box.
Nope, we're all good.
Okay, great. All right. Well, we're just at 4 minutes till the hour. Again, thank you for joining us today. This was our third webinar in the series, Thursday at 3, looking at socialization and really beginning to peel back layers of the onion to understand and look at creative and innovative ideas. Next week will be our final webinar, and that will be on health and well-being. Again, just thank you for participating. Be sure to go to the ACL website for your tools and your resources. And thank you again, Jasmine and Anna. Thank you. And this webinar was recorded, and as I mentioned, it will be available too. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Kathy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.